being now in a good position for it, let's go through how to defeat the armored furnace golems. If you haven't beaten a normal one already, all you need to do is slash its legs. When it pulls its legs up and is about to do a flaming stomp, you need to jump over the flames, keep on going until you cause a stun, and then get the critical hit on it. I feel like they're pretty similar to dragons mostly, apart from there's just a little bit more evasion going off with the legs, almost like a hybrid between the dragons and the trolls. However, the armored ones are a little bit different. They have a specific way in which we must defeat them, and the way that I'm going to advise that you do this is by crafting yourself some hefty furnace pots. There is one issue with this, however. The first issue is that the furnace visagers are limited. I don't know that it's 100% limited. I simply haven't found a way to farm them. There are some on the ground across the world, but mostly you're going to get these from defeating other golems. If you need some that are on the ground, you should find some on the ground with the recipe for the lava pots at the Rundown Traveler's Rest. In addition, wherever you find like a previously downed golem, you'll also find those along the ground as well. I know for a fact that there is one just to the side of the entrance to the Shadow Keep. This character isn't up to that point yet, so it's not like I am going to be using those. With all of those then, we are going to craft said hefty furnace pots. The other thing that you need for this is Ember of Mesmer. That stuff is easy to find on the Altus area, which is up here. You can find them pretty much anywhere along the road, although it is pretty tough up here, so just be careful. But make sure you get some of that, and then you can craft the pots. From this point, to be safe, what I recommend doing is making a backup of your save, just in case you happen to miss. And then, for the love of God, equip yourself some fire defense, because you're going to need it. Now then, find a decent spot where you can see your target golem and look for a high point. We are going to need to throw the pots that we just made into the top of the golem to achieve victory. So mine are now equipped, and we're going to be using those as we go. This is why we need to make sure we have fire defense, because when we're trying to lure it to where we need to go, we will need to make sure that we're just able to do that. You can also use standard fire pots, but that's going to take 4 or 5 rather than 3, and I'd rather do this in less throws than more, so that's what we're going to attempt to do. We've got healing on the go. I could use some fire resistance abilities or something like this, but I feel like that would be overkill, especially as not everybody's going to be using a build that could do that. And so generally speaking, look towards wherever the high spots are, and you'll probably find there's a spirit spring. I can't remember what they're called now. But anyway, we're just going to run straight towards that. Hopefully we don't get hit by any of its fire attacks just yet. There is a level of luck involved in this, which is why I suggested we make ourselves a save state. In this case, we are going to head on up to the cliff, and then try to take cover as it gets closer to us. So we're just going to find some cover behind this here rock and let it walk in our direction. The good thing is, once we've got the first pot off, as long as once you're feeling lucky, we're going to make a run towards the Wicker Man. Get our pots out and start throwing them in. Once he's been stunned, we want to keep on throwing them in until he's dead. 3 pots, and we have 1 dead Wicker Man.